Today I wanted to do a fun little small video just talking about the channels that I watch, the podcasts I listen to, that kind of stuff that helps me with my writing. I thought it was a fun idea and I would love for other people to comment down below the stuff they watch, listen to, all that fun stuff. So yeah, number one, the thing that I like listening to a lot is Writing Excuses, which is a podcast with Brandon Sanderson and two of his other friends, which is like 15 minutes long. They talk about a particular topic for 15 minutes and then at the end they say, you're out of excuses, now go write. I do like that. I think it's a nice, manageable chunk of information which is interesting to listen to. So I think one guy writes horror, the other guy is into comic books or webtoons, and it's interesting to listen to them discuss ideas and talk about stuff. I really like it personally, and I think it's a decent listen to if you don't have massive amount of time to listen to like 3-hour podcasts, because it's a lot to do that. A thing on YouTube that I think is so important, especially for fantasy and science fiction writers, to watch and listen to like it is gospel. I probably many people know about this, but this is for the small minority that don't. YouTube, Brandon Sanderson's lectures. Those things are the best thing on the internet. I've watched most of them now. I'm just working my way through it and they are so good because he is giving a lecture to a university class in America. Don't ask me where because my geography is terrible, but the information you get, and he explains it in such a way that it does not feel like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? It's not wishy-washy language. It's really basic and stuff that you can actually apply, which I like. If you get a chance, sit through his lectures. They are gold dust and they have taught me so much, like you wouldn't even consider things. Like for example, for me, I never even thought about the geography of the world and the way that like rivers form and what mountains affect the weather and just all this stuff you just don't even consider, and you're like, oh, so if I have this certain thing in my world, this would have to be like that. Rivers don't run that way, mountains don't form that way. Very good. My third person I like watching is somebody called Kavanagh, and she is a Authortuber who I believe she wants to be a hybrid author. If I'm getting this information wrong, which is someone who wants to be traditionally published and also do some self-publishing. She vlogs about her experiences, she does little challenges. I just like the vibe, and there's dogs in her videos, which, I mean, I'm sold. I just love the videos she posts. They're just super interesting and super chill, and she just talks about writing, and then she also drinks loads of coffee, which again is, I enjoy it. Again, I think people will probably know who she is, but for people that don't, I think she's super worth checking out. Another popular one, because I'm super, what would you call me? I'm just very mainstream when it comes to writing content on the internet, who I found super duper helpful during my writing process is Hello Future Me. I think I found him like 2 years ago and he really helped with the timeline of my world that I'm currently writing so much. He like put things in perspective for me. He does like video essays about writing or story structure or just all these different things to do with writing and storytelling, which are, and he also makes videos sometimes about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I don't know what more needs to be said. Super worth it. Now, the next one I love, again, this is for fantasy writers, it is called Shadowversity. I believe I'm saying it right. Shadowversity. Shadowversity? That Shadowversity. He is a guy who is a fantasy writer who loves like medieval history, and he sort of like goes into detail about like the science and the reality of like swords and what magic would be like, because he loves all of his science and that kind of stuff, and he just makes these really interesting videos about just everything fantasy based and the reality of it. Like I think he did a really funny video about in The Hobbit, I believe, they go down a river in a barrel and he's like, could you actually do that? And he gets in a barrel and he does it with his, I think it's his friends. And I found that video really funny, and it's just sort of the realism of what would happen in these situations, and he sort of breaks down if you could use this sword, if you could do this thing. And I just find his channel is very good for that kind of, if you're into that kind of stuff and you're writing that kind of stuff, his content is super valuable. Like he helped me with, again, the current story I'm working on, thinking about how the magic systems work. He gave me an insight into something and it really changed the way my story was going for the better. So I do thank him, even though I will probably never meet him. And last but not least, someone who I like listening to and watching is Hayley in Bookland. I just enjoy the vibe. Again, there's a cute dog. She likes drinking coffee and tea. She's a bit more book-based as in what she's reading, but she does talk about writing as well. I think it's a nice mix of what she's reading and what she's writing, and it's interesting to watch for me. So yeah, she is quite good, but it's a bit more like the stuff she's reading and book based than the other people that I've just spoken about. So if you're into that, again, I would recommend it. She is good. Again, cute little dogs. What more do I need to say to you? Please comment below with the people that you watch. I'd love to hear it. I'm always looking for new channels to follow, so thank you for that, and goodbye.